Well, welcome everyone. I am underneath the carport this morning and I am getting ready to solve the bird problem that we have had. We've had birds build nests in the corner supports throughout our carport here, and that has opened itself up to several different problems. And yes, we even had a snake attempt to crawl up and set inside that nest in order to get to the eggs earlier this spring. I'm going to show you a clip of that. I've never seen a 5-foot snake roll itself into something that small, but if snakes make you nervous, you may want to skip this next 30 seconds of clip.
She's sitting up there just as pretty as you please. Oh boy. Yep.
That snake it actually climbed the side of the shed wall and then from the roof into the awning, and like I said, it rolled itself right up inside this bird's nest here. And then once they figure out that that's a food source for them, obviously you never get the snakes to stop coming back. So we did remove the snake. We took it out to the lower side of the property and released it. It was a big snake. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to fix this problem, as well as all 5 center eaves has a support in it, and that makes the perfect habitat for bees. They'll build nests up in there, and even the birds. I mean, even though that gap is this small, they will climb up there and build a nest in that. So let's fix the problem. I hope some of this information helps you. If you have an awning like this and you're experiencing these same things, I believe I have a solution for you. Thanks for watching. I'm just going to take this brush, see if I can push these nests out of here. Like I said, you wouldn't think that this becomes an issue. When you walk out here and see a snake that size laying up underneath one of these little support beams here, it's time to fix that problem. All right, that's got that one pretty good. And I definitely don't want to close that stuff in there. Even though this is galvanized metal, if all that nesting material is allowed to be left in there, it will cause this stuff to start to rust out. You better up to get that removed. Alright. And while we're on this, we're going to check this center eave here. Let's just take a quick look in there and make sure that we don't have nothing built inside that. Alright, so I have all 6 supports cleaned out now, and that was all the nesting material. And you wouldn't think those birds could pack that much stuff in there, but boy, they had them all full. And I'm glad to have that removed. And again, it's not something I want to leave in there before I close this up. Let's wash this thing off. Now what we're going to do, guys, is make us a template so we can match this radius right here. And I've made sure that my cardboard is wide enough from the top of the tin to the base of the support there. We're going to set this up, and I'm simply going to eyeball the angle of that support. And that's going to get me pretty close. Mark this guy out. Okay, so we got a line on there now. I'm going to trim this out, and we may have to check several times in order to get it exactly the way we want it. And then I will absolutely check before I cut my metal to every support bracket that we're going to be covering up. Okay? So just make yourself a template. Now once I get this cut out too, I will also put a mark on here indicating the bottom and the top of my template. That way I keep everything consistent. And we're going to have a little bit of movement too that we can use because the channel is about 1.5 inches deep on the brackets. Right. That's what we ended up with. Like I said, I'm going to put a top and bottom mark on that as well. Let me check and see how it's going to fit. Pull these corners back. Center line. Just simply scribe the back of it for our flush line. Put this right and left on here as well. And the material I'm going to use to seal these pockets up is aluminum flashing. This stuff is easy to work with, however it does get really sharp when you start cutting on it, so watch your fingers. And I also use some spring clips once I take this band off of here to keep this stuff from just unspooling on me. That way I can roll out what I need to work with and then just simply clamp it off, and then it'll sit there until I'm ready to use it again. Okay? This flashing is 12 inches by a 50-foot roll. It was about $30, I think. And again, now you can get this stuff in the same color as your metal, so if you wanted to do this in white or green or brown or whatever, they have this available for you in different colors. I'm going to do mine with silver, hoping that the shiny part of the aluminum here will also deter birds from coming in here trying to find a place to nest. Okay. That's got our first eave made there. Let's get this guy cut out. And like I said, this stuff's really easy to work with, but it is sharp, so be careful. Now I'm going to use a construction grade set of scissors. They're a little bit easier to work with on the metal than tin snips are. And this stuff cuts real easy. So there's our first piece done. Let's see if we can get it installed. Just enough. Get that loose a little bit. Oh, that's going to be perfect. Right. Now what I'm going to do, I can see that wants to lay back. I'm going to put me some silicone behind that as an adhesive. And that way, once it seals up, we haven't created a space for bugs to get into, because they simply go right down into that and start building a larger nest, and I don't want that to happen. So I am going to seal that up, and even though when we tighten these back up, it's going to pull it a little bit. You could also just simply stick you another screw right here in the top, and that would more than likely hold it as well. think that birds could be that much of a nuisance. Those little guys, they moved them for the entire summer, and when I have this completed, I won't ever have to worry about that again. And I have more than enough trees for the birds to live in. Okay, that should do it. That's gonna fit perfect. So what I'm going to do, I don't have to worry about my two bottom screws there. So I'm going to fill around this guy and then take my hammer and mark where their screws is at. Should be 3 of them there. No, just 2. So that made me some nice marks there, and I'm going to pre-drill those. I will remove these 2 screws and simply loosen these up. Place my silicone, put this in place, and then put these 2 screws back in place, and that's going to hold this. It's going to turn out nice. Make sure your rubber washer rolls out with a screw too, because you're going to need that. And I'm just running about an 1/8 inch bead of silicone around this guy. Really make sure that we can't let the bugs get in there. Right. Now, if you choose not to remove the screws, I'm sure you could just simply put a heavier bead of silicone around that and then just do both sides at once and clamp it together and let it dry. I'm going to fasten mine in a little more permanent. Move this out of the way. Now the splashing does bend easy. A little bit of caution there. Try to move as much of that silicone around as I can. Make a tight seal. There we go. Looks nice, doesn't it? They won't build in that pocket any longer. Good. All right, we have them completed. Actually, they turned out really good. Have all the eaves done too. And now that they're in place, it looks like they've been there forever to me. Good, I'm glad how it turned out. All right, so about 3 hours of labor, and I used around 24 linear feet of the 12-inch wide flashing, and it turned out excellent. So having a nice solid support there, no more bugs, no more birds, and positively no snakes climbing up in there and me worrying about them falling out when we're walking to the vehicle. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. And I know there's a ton of applications for these awnings that everybody uses, from sawmills down to parking vehicles. And so I hope this information helps you make yourself a good set of templates, and that way you can just walk right through and do your building how you choose to. You only have to do it right once, and you'll never have to mess with it again. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.